Not everyone who's sensitive to criticism is sensitive to criticism because it hurts their ego.
Criticism sensitivity for egoists is not because they're just sensitive to criticism, and it's not because they're people pleasers. It's because it's a trauma response. Some of us have grown up with emotionally immature or narcissistic parents who insisted that they are the center of the family. They are the center of the universe. But children need an environment in which they're the center. Parents should center their kids and the child's development, do things in the best interest of the kids. So when the child has an emotional need, the parent shows up and then provides some support for that need. But that's not what happens. In these families, when a child has a need, it's seen as direct competition with the parent's need. Say, for example, a child skins their knees and they need actually attention and care and some comfort. To a narcissistic or toxic parent, that's seen as taking away from the parent's time. They feel inconvenienced, and how dare the child's pain somehow take away from that parent's need to be front and center. I know that sounds crazy, but to a narcissistic parent, they see their children's expression of any type of attention seeking as direct competition. So some kids in these situations have learned to submerge their need to the benefit of their parent. They learn to suffer silently. They learn to not tell anybody they're in trouble. They've learned to make themselves really small. They've learned to become a wallflower. And criticism is a particularly sensitive thing to them because it's the warning shot saying that they have now somehow showed up too much or asking for too much, and that there's going to be bigger consequences coming. Because often narcissistic parents use criticism as a way to say to a kid, hey, know your place. You're taking up too much space here. Back up. Become more invisible again. And if you're a sensitive person who learned to read the room really well, you're going to realize that you've been warned and you need to change something so that you're less than. This sensitivity to criticism then, of course, persists to adulthood because now it's a trigger. You've learned the last thing you want to do is to take up space and to be center stage, because that means then that there's going to be seen as a threat, and it's going to result in things that you don't want, like being ostracized, scapegoated, or maybe outright rejected. So criticism sensitivity isn't always about just a person being sensitive to criticism. For some of us, it's because it's a trauma trigger, and it's a warning that worse things are coming. Has this been something that you've dealt with in your life? Drop me a comment and let me know.